Greetings everyone, my name is Muhammad Zafri Haikal bin Zainuddin. Today I would like to share about my study which is entitled Membrane Reactor for Production of Biodiesel. Worldwide, bad outdoor air caused an estimated 4.2 million premature deaths in 2016, about 90% of them in low and middle income countries, according to the World Health Organization. Indoor smoke is an ongoing health threat to the 3 billion people who cook and heat their homes by burning biomass, kerosene, and coal. Air pollution has been linked to higher rates of cancer, heart diseases, stroke, and respiratory diseases such as asthma. In the US, nearly 134 million people, over 40% of the population, are at risk of disease and premature death because of air pollution, according to the American Lung Associate's estimates. So what are the causes of air pollution? Generally there are a lot of causes that cause air pollution, and the next one is the emission of smoke and also byproduct from the factories and industrial company. This emission from these companies, these industrial places has mostly these industrial places and also factories contributes most of the pollution that is occurring around us. The emission of these factories, all the smokes and also the byproducts that been emitted from these factories need to be cut down as soon as possible. Law need to be restricted for these such factories, as we don't want any of the harmful smoke and also emission to contaminate the environment. And last but not least, as we all know, vehicles emits a lot of carbon monoxide and also other gases which somehow be harmful to us. It contaminates our environment. All the carbon monoxide will be reacted to the surrounding, and it turns out to pollute the environment, which in results causing a harmful effect to human being and also all living things around us. Toxic chemicals are one of the causes leading to air pollution. The chemicals and all the toxic gases from the chemicals itself will emit through the atmosphere and in results contaminates the environment. So based on the slide, or I can say the poster that you can see right now, this shows some statistics which is recognized by the World Health Organization. So air pollution is yet a silent killer based on this statistics that have been shown by WHO. Around 7 million deaths are due to exposure from both outdoor and household air pollution. Air pollution is a major environmental risk. To help by reducing air pollution levels, countries can reduce stroke, heart diseases, and also lung cancer. So all these kinds of disease could be stopped by reducing air pollution. Air pollution have been contaminating all around us, everywhere around the world. Nearly, I can say that almost each and every year the number of deaths are increasing around us, everywhere. This problem need to be stopped somewhere, and we as human beings need to work together in order to reduce, or I can say as well, to stop this problem to get worse in the future. So based on what you can see right now is actually the difference of the surrounding or the environment at Colombia. So the resource is obtained from what causes air pollution in Bogota. We can see that on the left side of the picture there is terrible um, air pollution going, while on the right side of the picture the air is much cleaner. So we can see that based on the picture itself, the environment is getting worse each and every day. From what I can say, that basically based on the picture itself, it shows that air pollution specifically, is getting worse. This kind of pollution need to stop somewhere, as we don't want any of um, this problem to be spread out in the coming future or to become worse yet later on. And in conjunction to that, there are actually a lot of solution can be done in order to reduce air pollution around us. And one of the solution that we can propose is actually to stop using diesel fuel and go for biodiesel fuel. So these two things are yet to be different, as the one on the left side is a diesel fuel. A diesel fuel that we are using nowadays thus gives a lot of harmful effect and a lot of side effect throughout the environment. The emission of diesel fuel is said to be way contaminated compared to biodiesel fuel. So there are lots of advantages on using biodiesel fuel instead of diesel fuel. So this kind of matter need to be considered, as we are going, or I can say that we are striving for a better environment around us. So before going further into the solution of reducing air pollution, so the solution that was proposed just now was to substitute the conventional diesel into biodiesel. So what is actually biodiesel? A biodiesel is a clean burning fuel which are produced through a specific process called esterification. Generally, the production of biodiesel consists of two components, which are alcohol and glycerol as the main reactants, with as well the presence of catalysts used such as potassium and sodium hydroxide. Most of the countries, especially Japan, America, and in the Europe, are practicing on substituting the conventional diesel fuel with biodiesel because of several reasons. Practically, biodiesel undergo more complete process of combustion compared to conventional diesel fuel. This in result reduce the amount of emission from vehicles, as a complete process is undergo by using biodiesel. Besides that, rather than using petroleum as the main ingredient for the production of diesel, vegetable oil and animal fat are used as to replace it, which is considered much more convenient and environmentally friendly, as petroleum contains a lot of chemicals which contributes harmful effect towards the environment. By using vegetable oil and also animal fat, which is known to be organic and also to be safe, vegetable oil and also animal fats thus contributes to a much more safer and also a healthier environment. The oil itself contains lesser chemicals, thus the emission of biodiesel will be much cleaner compared to conventional diesel that we are using right now. Membrane bioreactor technology, which combines biological activated sludge process and membrane filtration, has become more popular, abundant, and accepted in recent years for the treatment of many types of wastewaters. It is the combination of a membrane process like microfiltration or ultrafiltration with a suspended groove bioreactor, and is now widely used for municipal and industrial wastewater treatment with plant size up to 80,000 population equivalents. A ceramic membrane can be categorized under a cross-flow filtration mode. It could withstand for about more than 20 years for a certain life cycles of a ceramic membrane. The ceramic membranes are often formed into an asymmetric multi-channel element. These elements are grouped together in housings, and these membranes modules can withstand high temperature, extreme acidity or alkalinity, and high operating pressure as well. A packed bed membrane reactor is categorized under heterogeneous system reaction. This means that the reaction or the reactant that will be inserted into the reactor could be more than one component or more than one phase of a reactant during the reaction is occur. A packed bed membrane reactor will be loaded with catalyst. The catalyst comes with various sizes according to the specification of a reaction on the particular time. The operation for a packed bed membrane reactor is not practically isothermal. In other words, we can say that the temperature of the reaction during a certain process will be not constant till the end of the process. Basically, based on the three approaches that have been presented just now, which are the membrane bioreactor, ceramic membrane reactor, and also the packed bed membrane reactor, my group and I had a discussion, and we managed to decide one, or I can say that the best solution was to choose ceramic membrane for the production of biodiesel. A SWOT analysis was conducted to see what is the strength, opportunities, weaknesses, and also threat for the solution that was chosen, which is the ceramic membrane for the production of biodiesel. So what are the strengths of ceramic membrane bioreactor? So firstly, it is mechanically robust. This means that it could withstand a high amount of ignition and also activity during a certain reaction is occur. Next, it has a resistance towards ozone and chlorine, which makes it environmentally friendly and green. And last but not least, it has a high heat resistance, which makes the ceramic membrane could actually withstand a high amount of temperature that is being applied during the reaction. Next, there are also some weaknesses regarding ceramic membrane reactor. Firstly, it could be easily eroded. This shows that this membrane could not withstand a slight different amount of chemical being injected into the reactor during a certain reaction is performed. So choosing the right amount of chemical and also the right choice of chemical is very crucial when it comes to using ceramic membrane. The next weaknesses for ceramic membrane is that it has a high capital cost. These show that the membrane is not that cheap, it's quite pricey. The installation for this membrane for a certain reaction is quite high, and it takes a lot of expenses to install it. A ceramic membrane also has a broad opportunities with. Firstly, it has the ability to disinfect raw water. To treat water, we need these kinds of technology, these kinds of inventive as to increase the product of water treatment and also to make the performance of treating water to become better every day. Second, it has a wide range of application, not just treating water. It has a lot more application that can be used when it comes to use ceramic membrane for a certain reaction. A ceramic membrane has its own threat as well. So one of the threat that can be discussed here is actually it has a possibility of thermal shattering. This could be simplified as the temperature of the reaction will change throughout the whole process, as the temperature is not permanent and could be easily changed throughout the entire process. Now going on to the case study of this topic. As an overview, the performance of three plant capacity of 125,000, 80,000 and also 8,000 tons per year of biodiesel are being evaluated in this study. These design volumes are made based on 2018 statistics, in which 280,000 tons of used cooking oil were collected throughout the year. As you can see in the slide as well, it is shown that the properties of end product for all three of the plants are equally the same, with the purity of mass for alcohol is 0.17, biodiesel is 99.82%, and lastly glycerol is 0.01%. So for the next slide, it shows the equipments used for each plant. So there are several equipments being used, which are reactor, flash evaporator, distillation column, settle tank, heat exchanger, cooling tower, compressor, and also pump. So basically, we can see that the largest capacity of plant, which is 125,000 capacity, gives the highest amount of total price of equipment compared to the other two plants. So for the next slide, as you can see, it is actually the calculation of the overall cost for all three plants. This includes the raw material, the byproduct produced, the fixed costs, and also the maintenance and everything. So in result, the required selling price for the largest plant, which is 125,000, shows a much lower price compared to the other plants, as when we are dealing in a bigger plant, the production will be much higher compared to the smaller plant, which then will produce a smaller production for the end product. So when we are dealing with a larger plant, the production will be much higher, thus the selling price for the production, for example, in this study, they are dealing with biodiesel, the RSP, or we can say the required selling price for biodiesel, will be much lower compared to these other small plants. In conclusion, there are a lot of benefits on using biodiesel instead of the conventional diesel that we are using right now. So the first thing is about the engine operation of certain vehicles will become more efficient when it comes in using biodiesel. The air quality obviously will become much cleaner when biodiesel is being implemented or when biodiesel is being used, as biodiesel does not emit any harmful substances or chemical reaction into the atmosphere. Thus, the quality of air will be sustained. And lastly, the energy security and balance will also be secured, as this because if we are using diesel fuel and all the petrol fuel, we are only focusing on that kind of resources only. But then when it comes in using for biodiesel, we are actually using organic materials such as vegetable oil and also fat animals. The resources are organic and comes naturally, which somehow help us to save the environment, and also the outcome will be much better compared to the chemical substance that we are using. Biodiesel causes far less damage than petroleum diesel if spilled or released to the environment. In other words, it is much safer than petroleum diesel because it is less combustible.